Hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. With 4 race starts, we're going to start with our Category 4 riders, then 3, 2 and 1. Our riders lined up in yellow, that is our Category 1 riders. In green, our Category 2. In blue, Category 3. And Category 4 in red. Away we go. Qualifier number 3, up and riding. And the first qualifier with the new 3.8.0 update to the racing. So we're going to see if that changes how these riders perform. We're going to see a little bit of a movement because Catherine Fu has decided, you know what? Time to stretch the legs.
She's proving she's got joie de vivre. Category 4 on the Hawk Hills climb. They're the leaders on the road at the moment. And Vink, Bremner, Bago and Idzik, the 4 riders who are up the front. Bogren and Alzat not far behind. They are starting to really work their way up now into the top 10, being led by Holly Bergen in that polka dot skin suit. She's leading the charge in Category 3, now on the final climb of the day.
In with Bridget Bremner, who's in 9th position as they come through the giant redwood here in the forest of California, going through the trunk there. And these huge trees are witnessing the riders as they make way in through. They have caught back all but one of our riders on the road, and that is Ella Vink.
Ella Vink now being caught by the leaders in this pack of Category 3 riders. Bremner and the other Category 4 riders were not able to stay with the pace of the group. They're now over 30 seconds back.
300 metres to go, and now Bergen is in trouble because Johnson has kicked again. Herrera has gone with her there at 7 watts per kilo.
Well, Bergen's
for
coming.
Herrera.
Bergen's coming at 7 watts per kilo. We're on screen with Rosa Herrera. Can she take Rebecca Johnson? That's the finish line. They're side by side. It's Herrera and Johnson as Herrera comes over the top. I think that's Rosa Herrera.
So hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, to our monthly final for August. End of the month. We've had some amazing qualifiers, including what was the endurance climb, an absolute epic of a day, both in the studios and in the pain caves around the world. My name's Matt Payne. I'm going to be bringing you all of the race action, along with the one and only dancing Emma Martin, who is dancing away while sat on a studio chair in the studios.
I am, because I'm so excited. I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to the August final today.
It's been a really busy week here, lots of prep coming up for the World Championships that are coming, and of course for Sunday Race Club. And this time around, well, we are on a familiar route to many because it is the Paso Alto for the women.
So the Paso Alto today, 35 kilometres of racing, 537 metres of climbing, and a lot of our riders love the first 22 kilometres of this race because it is pretty much pan flat, other than the bridges, and those bridges do give opportunity for the pack to split. Now, there are also 5 sprints along the way, 4 of those before we start the climb at 21.9 kilometres. And that Medlin City climb is 5.5 kilometres in length with an average gradient of 5.9%, making it a Category 2 climb. For me, this is the most important climb of the race because then you transition through the Amazon rainforest sprint and into the Bogota climb, which with an average gradient of 2.9% often ends in a sprint if a group of riders go over the top of the Medellin City climb together, making it, for me, one of the most watchable finales.
A watchable finale in store for our riders. Let's see if it's watchable today. I'm sure it'll be absolutely enthralling. We have 4 race stars. Our Category 1 in yellow, 2 in green, 3 in blue, and Category 4 in red. Now some big squads in here. Intercontinental, Flores Thompson, Belly, Kitsugi, Tajeros, Garcia, Leonor, and Tangulon. We've got the pedal dancers with Fiedler, Arias, Bogren, and Bago. Petit 4 have Bremner, Hamilton, Lloyd, and Francis. Phoenix with Navarez, Silva, Kirchner, Navarez again, Sarasuk and Ferron. The Strong Girls squad with Valencia, Salazano, Alvarez. And what women? Vink, Goodall, Idzik, and Aiken. And an individual rider in Salama Al-Kabi, who cannot be discounted from being right up there in the results. It's time to go racing. It's the Sunday Race Club. It's our monthly final, and Category 4 are away.
They are indeed. They are up and out of the start pen. And this group of 28 riders, 7 teams, 28 riders up and out of the start pen now. And for me, Matt, this is going to be a really interesting race. Not just an interesting individual race, but the team competition this month in Category 4. As I look through the start sheets, I've got top 5, should I say, finishes from riders amongst 5 different teams.
Excellent. So a real spread then.
Well, let's just remind our viewers that the team competition, up to 5 riders in each team. And it's the first 3 riders' times that are added together once they're over the finish line that give the team competition. Now, Ronan Tanglian on our screens at the moment, part and parcel of the Kintsugi team. Well, that team, Tijeros, Garcia, Lenore and Tanglian, not had anybody in the top 5 this month. But the pedal dancers, Alicia Fielder has had a 4th, Katie Bago has had a 4th. The pedal dancers took the win in the team competition in Wollongong in July from the Petit Four squad by over a minute. But the Petit Four squad, well, this month, Bremner's finished 2nd, Hamilton's had a 1st and a 5th, and Francis has had a 2nd, and Nikki Lloyd has been well and truly up there very, very regularly. So I think they are a team really on form this month. Phoenix squad, Narvaez has had a 4th place. Some other strong riders in there, De Silva, Kirchner, Narvaez, Sarasu and Ferron. Alzat's had 2 5ths in the strong girls. Could be a squad to watch out for. And in the Watt women, Vinks had a 1st and a 2nd, and Idzik has had 3 thirds. So they are going to be right on the heels of Nikki Lloyd there. Well, the birthday celebrations have gone from last week. Could it be an August finale celebration for the Petit Four? Well, Bremner, Hamilton, Lloyd and Francis. Let's keep an eye on that squad.
Let's see how they get on. The Petit Fours with us week in, week out as a team and riding as a team, which is always great to see on the Sunday race, or whether or not we've got team prizes in there. Now, we do have a rider distance already, and it is taking some people are just having to get used to the change in the drafting, because we've gone from the previous versions, to a version 3.8.1 at the moment, which is a new draft that came in at 3.80. Don't forget you can get up to date with all of the details of that. There's a great video on the MyWhoosh YouTube channel, which tells you all about what the latest changes, the latest, the lag, the speed with which your response is, the way that the draft works, and the momentum and inertia that's carried through. So it really is a new update. And some of our riders, if they qualified in qualifier 1 and 2, may not have been used to the racing with it, if they haven't been out racing, for example, on the MyWhoosh Classic. So we will see. Meanwhile, down in the pain cave, we can see
they're back together again.
Yeah, we've got Kirsten Hamilton down here. And can you remember, Emma, who is with her?
Well, there is a question, isn't it? Should we put that out as a test to our viewers? But it is actually Isabella Bryson, so let's not do that. I was just thinking it could be a really good spot, couldn't it, for those viewers who have been with us a long time. Can they remember who shares a garage with Kirsten Hamilton?
Well, that would be very impressive stroke, quite wrong. Quite scary. Somebody who can actually remember so many things. Maybe they need to get out more. I couldn't remember. I have to admit, I'm glad you could. There you go. Right. Okay. Category 4 up and underway. Category 3 heading out on to the course very shortly. Again, masses of teams here. So we've got the Al Wathba team in here. Mavin, De Grazia, Schultz and Zabala. We've got the Koalas, the Caramella Koalas here. Hyde, Sonners and Jones. Chizikowicz, Kennedy. The Gear Goddesses. They're represented by Marin, Lopez, Tomkinson and Takova. We've got the Grand Line Gears team. They have De Silva, Hadlock, Piccolo and Howeiler. The La Rosa Blanca squad, Bergin, Vasquez, Johnson, Herrera and Barragan. The Pedal Pals, Zulaga, Elos, Bryson and Simkin. And Team Golden Light with Golden Light in there, captaining them. Masses of teams. Lots of riders who could be in contention. There's some big hitters in a couple of big teams. We're going to run through those with Emma in a second. It's time for Category 3 to go racing. MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club finals a go for Category 3.
Well, the blue jerseys are up and out of the start pen. For me, this is lining up to be one of the best team competitions outside of Category 1, because I tell you something, Category 1, when we get there, you won't believe it. But Category 3 has been heading towards this race all month for me. Grind my gears. De Silva has had a 4th and 2/5. Hadlock has had a 3rd, and Piccolo has taken a win.
Yeah, big squad.
Holweiler, you can never discount Tanya Holweiler at all from being up the front of a race and making the action.
I think it's one of the first months she's not actually been in the top 5.
I would agree with you. Now, La Rosa Blanca, the White Rose. Bergin has had a 3rd and been very dominant. Johnson has had a 2nd and a 5th. Herrera has had a 1st, a 3rd and a 4th. They're joined by Barragan and Vasquez. It has got to be a battle royale today between Grind My Gears and La Rosa Blanca. But...
yeah, it is a big but.
It is a big but, because Caramella Koalas, Hyde Sonnerson, Jones, Chudzekowicz and Kennedy. Chudzekowicz has come up from Category 4, but they are also a strong squad.
Definitely, and I think we've got to remember that there are prizes down to 5 places in the team competition with 7 teams in action. We've got 6 of them could score points. We're going to see how they're going to get on now. As you can see on your screens, we have got Hadlock, we've got Holweiler and Piccolo, who are 3 of our riders in the Grind My Gear squad. They're there and up and racing already and getting ready for the action. And they know this course well, I'm sure. I don't think any one of these riders, for them, it's a new course. They know what you need to do and where you need to do it. And at the moment, all looking pretty cool and composed.
Yes. On the Paso Alto, we were here in Qualifier 2 in June. Actually, that was the fastest time this year for the women on this course by some significant margin in Category 1. And then we were also here in Qualifier 1 in April and the February final. So we've been here 3 times this year already. This is race number 4 on the Paso Alto for the women for 2024.
Yep, regular course, regular favourite with lots of people. But you got to make sure you got this down. Now, you can see we've got Isabella Bryson in there as well as Kristen Hamilton. Just up on our screens. 2 for the price of 1 on that camera. It's great to get the insight.
And I love the fact they're on different... One's Category 3, one's Category 4 as well.
Yeah, different categories, but still out and racing, riding together. That's one of the great things, isn't it? And we're going to see riders riding together in the World Championships. I mentioned the World Championships at the start of the show. We've been doing a lot of preparation, not just in terms of space etc., but also making sure that we get an idea of how the shows are going to work and seeing people in real life. Seeing people's avatars, as we're doing at the moment. So we see Bryson and Hamilton on your screens. We see the avatars, good looking picking them out from this distance. But we will be seeing people in real life at those World Championships. These cameras give us a little bit of an insight already.
They do, but can I just take the opportunity to say thank you very much to the production staff behind the scenes.
Yes.
Because they are absolutely cracking at pulling out the right riders at the right times, in the right place, when the race action is absolutely nailing it.
Yep. Anybody who's been to a gallery in a studio will know just exactly how tricky it is, with several hundred cameras to choose from and several hundred views, and you've got to make sure that you pick the right one. Now, as we come in along the course here in Paso Alto, it is bumpy. Bumpy is the only word really that you can use to describe this, because it isn't climbing. It is up and over the bridges. And up over the bridges is where we're seeing these breaks. You can see on the left-hand side of your screen, each of those red discs represent a rider. You can see that we've got riders' distance. You can see the single rider just coming off the bridge right now. That's our sole disc chasing the centre of that darkened circle. So Category 4 breaking into 3 groups. Category 3, 1 big pack all together. Category 2, there are next riders to hit the race start. Again, plenty of teams in here. 5 teams. The Generate 13 with Bulawa, Bonilla, Tocanis and Beltran. We've got the Globetrotters squad with Jaramillo, Wagner, Paredo and Vittori. The Sunday crew, Davidson, Van Shaw, Miller, Rona and Gorea. We've got the Velociraptors, which is Walkenhurst, Kong, Smithers and McAlpine. And the Velocity Vikings, Embring, Svarström, Montgomery and Lundin. The Swedish squad of Vikings are looking to put the rest to the sword today. Will it be their day to go raiding and pillaging? We will see if they're going to go home with the bounty or whether they are going to be heading off home in a ship full of leaks. We are going to see. Out on course today, Category 2 are out and racing.
They are indeed. Category 2 are up and out the start pen and up at 35 kilometres an hour within the first 100 metres. They are ready and raring to go. And Monica Rona right at the front of the pack. Julia Montgomery just taking charge now. The pack rolling very, very steady but very, very strongly away from that start pen. Now, this team competition in Category 2 is going to be phenomenal. It was the Globetrotters who took it from the Velocity Vikings in July. The question is that going to be the same today? So the Globetrotters, Jaramillo's had a fourth, Wagner's had a fourth, Prado's had 2 fifths, and Vittori has taken a win. Every single one of that squad has had a top 5 this month. They're on form. The Velocity Vikings, Svarström's had a third, Montgomery's had a third, and London's had a fifth. So again, Embring has not taken a top 5 yet, I want to say, this month. And they were second last month. I think they're going to be right up in the mix again this month. But for my money, the Globetrotters have got to be favourites. But the Sunday crew, Davidson, Van Short, Miller, Rona and Goria, Van Short's had 2 second places this month. And Walkenhurst had a third and Smithers had a second and a fourth from the Velociraptors. And we know Lam Kong, when she's going well, and Wendy McAlpine has had a number of 6th places this month. They could be right up in the mix as well.
It's going to be really, really close. There are 5 key teams in this. There are 5 people in there. The Velocity Vikings are in there. They've got the best raiding gear ready. I hope they've sharpened their axes. They've got themselves all ready. I think we can almost say
the flag is waving in the background.
Yeah, the Valkyries are ready to ride. We will see whether or not they'll be screaming with celebration or pain at the end of this. Will they rise from the dead to take away victory in battle? We will find out. It's enough Viking references.
It is.
So, Sarah London, Julia Montgomery and Embring in here, heading out onto the course. 3 of our great riders. It's great to see our riders in action.
It is absolutely fantastic. And let me just say, in April, qualifier 1, when we were on the Paso Alto, in Category 2, there was only 3 seconds separating the top 4 riders.
It's hardly anything, isn't it?
Absolutely nothing. When I said at the start of the show, when we were talking about this course, that there was a possibility of a sprint finish at the top of the Paso Alto, I'm sure our listeners heard that and thought, what is she talking about? I can confirm in April, 4 riders in Category 2 were split by 3 seconds. And that day, 4 riders in Category 1 were split by 7 seconds.
There you go. It shows you just how close this course is now. Sunday Cruise, Kimberly Miller, already starting to warm up here. Kimberly, based in Germany, just making sure that she's got plenty of fluids beside her. Rehydration, really, really key on the way through. Being hydrated before you start, hydrated throughout the ride, and hydrated on the way out. And really, really key.
And I love the cooling towel. A lot of riders do things like put those wet towels that really hold the water in the freezer before they start.
Yes.
And then if you're going to be riding like there in Germany, where the temperature is going to be around 30 degrees today, it won't be quite there yet, but it will get hotter and hotter and hotter during this race. Yes, a fan is great. Air conditioning is brilliant if you've got it. But if you haven't, the opportunity to put a small towel like that holds and packs the water in the freezer and then drape it over your shoulders or over your neck is a great cooling strategy.
And it's something that you can do very easily indoors, much easier than you can if you were, say, racing outdoors, where you've got to try and stuff it down the back of your skin suit or similar. Now, the coolest cucumbers of the lot, well, they are Category 1. They're so cool, they are ice cold, because we have the A-Block International Squad. Lisa Hermanson, Maria Holcroft, Mary-Kate McCarthy, Mika Soderstrom and Tiffany Penner in action for them. The Chill Out crew have got Charlotte Colclough, Gabriela Guerra, Yesenia Menezes and Madonna Degmashandi. The Effetto Skier Squad, represented by Joanna Kalman, Roberta Bassoni, Celine Columbi, Sophie Giovanni. The Effetto Skier Spritz Squad, well, that's Gonzalez, Rua, Kolokowitz, Field and Stevenson. The Fully Calibrated Squad, We've got Connie Engstrom, Gabrielle Nordin, and Shelia Kasani. Peak performers is Van Hoek, Korchinski, Bjarhead, and Sidley. And the sweat sensations, Amelia Velt, Catherine Fuhr, Mel Bruni, and Mina Koistonen. Away they go. Category 1 away. It's like reading out a who's who of esports when we read the list. I mean, I'll be brutally honest. I might as well just said, well, basically, pick any one of these riders, and they could easily be inside the top 5, if not taking the win.
Yes, you are absolutely correct. 28 riders on the start sheets in Category 1 today, and it is a who's who of racing. Well, let me just tell you, the team competition is going to be fast and furious today, and I really want to see how the tactics play out today in this Category 1 race. So the sweat sensations have been absolutely dominant. Velt, Fuhr, Bruni and Koistonen have been dominant month after month after month in Category 1. Fuhr this month, she has been on top spot every single race. Bruni's had a 4th, Koistonen's had a 4th, and they were the first team last month. But I really want to see how those other teams go, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment.
So we're just going to take a quick check on our riders. We'll be back with you very shortly indeed. So all 4 groups of riders away on course. You can see that the riders are currently spread out on a route from 1.5 kilometres to 10.5 kilometres at the moment. And as you can see, all 4 groups away. Category 1 in yellow, Category 2 in green, Category 3 in blue, Category 4 in red. All out and clear, all up and running and looking good at the moment. Really impressive that the groups at the moment, I mean, Category 3 is spread all over the place again. We've seen that. We saw that with Category 4. Yeah. We're seeing that with Category 2. The finals, yet again, are putting the pressure on the riders.
Well, and it is the finals, but it's also these bridges. And I know we say the first 22 kilometres of this race is pretty much flat, but these bridges are short. They are very sharp in terms of the gradient, and they really do take a toll on the racing, because the riders quite rightly push hard, not to go away from the pack, but to drop the back end of the group, and they are very, very successful in doing that. I say they're short and I say they're sharp. They're around 7%, and if you go and ride up a 7% gradient, you will know about it, and these riders do, because the packs are being split already in Category 3 and Category 4 as the riders come up and over those sections.
The riders finding this course testing. We're seeing riders coming in both directions. This is a great looping course as well. If you want to go out and ride on this course, don't forget you can download the latest version of MyWhoosh. You can do that really easily. Go on to www.mywhoosh.com. Make sure that when you jump on board that you download the latest version. And of course, don't forget there are 2 versions for Windows. If you run on Windows, there's the standard MyWhoosh and there's MyWhoosh HD. If you've got a good setup and it meets those minimum specs for that, then you get all of the full Monty graphics with all of the people at the size. It is hard to tell the difference when you're riding between that and the standard MyWhoosh, but there are just slight differences there. So if you're a real gaming fan, it's definitely worth a look. Don't forget, of course, you can do it on an iPhone, on an iPad. You can cast it up to the screen. So you can see Natalie Stevenson has got a great screen in front of her. She's able to see the action at the moment. Make sure that she has got that dialed. Some of our riders will be running on things like iPads or similar. And of course, if you're on Android, you can do the same and cast it up to another device. So make sure you download, jump on board. You could be up and racing up against the Effetto Skier Sprint squad.
You could do indeed. And let's go back to talking about those squads, shall we?
Yeah, let's have a little look at the Category 1 squads.
Well, I can tell you. So we were talking about the Sweat Sensations being absolutely dominant. Now, for me, Ablock International, McCarthy has been knocking on the door of the top 5 since she joined. She took a 3rd place this month, finally moving into that top 5 positions. Soderstrom has also taken a 3rd place. They were 2nd last month. Maria Holdcroft, always there or thereabouts as well, right up in the mix. Hermansen and Penner in there as well. Now, the Chill Out crew, this for me is an exciting crew because Colclough and Guerra have recently joined the Sunday Race Club. Both of them, we know, world-class esports riders. The Chill Out crew, for me, going to be really interesting. Menendez has had a 2nd, a 4th and a 5th. They're going to be really strong. Keep an eye out for them. Effetto Skier, Bassoni's had a 3rd, Colombi's had 2 5ths. Kalman Giovanni joined them. I'm also interested to see, because the peak performers are here today. Van Hove, Kolczynski, who's had a 2nd, but she's been out smashing hill climbing records in the States this month. Bjarhead and Sidlik. And if my little eyes don't deceive me, I think Stephanie Sidlik may be back in the States. And I know she has been struggling with the heat in Germany. Racing.
Well, yes, it's been incredibly hot, hasn't it?
It's been incredibly hot. And I know she posted this week on social media that her training was going so much better in a cooler environment.
But the temperature has dropped down in Europe recently a little bit, and that is going to affect a number of our riders. You can see Joanna Coleman in there, Bassoni, Colombian Giovanni, and the squads there spread across Europe. The 2 central riders sitting in Italy. We've got Poland and France represented as well. But of course, we've riders out and around the globe, and plenty of places. I mean, it's 40 plus degrees all the time, so you do have to race indoors with air conditioning on, or with the world's biggest fan,
Yes.
like, getting a wind tunnel.
Yes, it's true, isn't it? And I think we've got a number of riders, particularly maybe in Europe, who think esports racing is for the winter when it's cold, and actually in other countries it's for the summer when it's so hot you can't venture outside.
Well, I was listening to a podcast with Matt Smithson, the man who is very often seen as the face of MyWhoosh, and a man who's got his finger on the pulse in designing things like the world's courses, amongst a myriad of tasks that he has at MyWhoosh. And he was saying, he's moved to the UAE, and for 48 weeks of the year, it's absolutely glorious, and 28-30 degrees outside, great to ride indoors all around. But then you have 3 weeks when it's 50 plus degrees and you can't do a thing other than hide. And this is the thing for me. It's a global sport. Yes, we have our Norse contingent with Malin Bjarhead in here from Sweden, and we have our European contingent, the American contingent, which have always been traditionally, we're talking about old school esports, if that's not a contradiction in terms. They're traditionally been very big. But with MyWhoosh, with the Sunday Race Club, we literally go around the world. Mary Kate McCarthy on our screens at the moment, coming from the States. We've got Eastern European, Lithuania. We've got Canada there with Penner. I mean, these are literally just the riders I've seen, with Vicky Whitelaw in here, Kawai Lee in from the Middle East. We've got Charlotte Colclough from UK. I mean, we've got Brazil with Guerra, who I think is stateside based,
she is
in
stateside
fairness.
based.
So, we've got a massive mix of riders from across the globe racing on MyWhoosh. So there is this thought that there is an indoor season is a very parochial view, really, I think.
Yeah,
and I have to say, I don't agree with it.
Well, I don't think there is an indoor season anymore, really. And I think that, we see as you go down the categories, a lot of Philippine riders actually in Category 2. Some really, really strong riders from the Philippines in Category 2. We've got a number of riders from Southern America as well, which I think is a really interesting addition as well. So you're quite right, Matt, that whole spread across the globe. And one of the things I really like is I was having a little read the other day of Singapore's approach to e-cycling and the fact now that they're even introducing it into schools.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. I mean, what a way to combine to get people's love of computer games and screens, but actually get them physically active. And we see transference. A regular event that we've run, the Donny Chain Gang, it's been a community. It's brought people from esports to racing and riding in national level criterium racing, and we see the same in reverse. I mean, Kristen Kolczynski on our screens is a perfect example of a rider who's transitioned indoors to out, but clearly just enjoys racing and seeing what she can do. And whether you're into your racing or your riding, I think it doesn't make a great deal of difference in a lot of ways. Being able to ride when you want to ride with that convenience is really, really important. I was talking with one of the local riders. His dad's a former ex-pro. He's a regular rider, but he's really struggling for time. And the way that he's getting around that because of work and family commitments at the moment is to jump on board esports, which is because he basically, it's a set of shorts, it's a set of shoes, jump on the bike and go, jump back off again through the show and back into work again, half an hour, job done. We can't do that outdoors.
No, but hold on to your hats, Matt, because I can tell you all 28 of the starters in Category 1 are still one pack rolling, and they've rolled through the Amazonia sprint at the top of the bunch. So Bassoni setting the fastest time, 17.565 of a second, and that pack right the way through to 28th, full of the Category 1 group. Svardström leading the charge from Category 2. They then fill the spots through. Then Category 3 being led through by Herrera, and Category 4, well, they are led through that sprint by Narvaez.
There we go. So, riders out on course, racing at the moment, doing a great job of making sure they've got absolutely in there. So the riders going well at the moment. They are nicely out on the course, nicely moving their way around the circuit here. The big group together in Category 1. Everybody's experienced here in terms of being a esports racer and rider. They know how to ride in the pack. They know the advantage of the draft. They know how key it is to stay in the wheels, and they have the strength to respond when others go in. The differences are incremental. We see bigger breaks elsewhere. Now, the riders in Category 1 still out on the coffee trail area of the Colombian World on MyWhoosh. You can see that Category 2 are just heading back in towards the cave system. Category 3 in the cave system right at the moment on the boardwalk, going through that subterranean world. And Category 4 heading out the other direction. And the pressure on in Category 1 and in Category 3. They're just on the left and right of your screen when the red chevrons go from the left to right on the riders' names. So that is a surefire indicator the riders are working hard to make sure that they've got the power down and making sure they get themselves out and across. Now, through the jungle trek sprint, they come. The sprints are not worth money. It's that straightforward, and because of that, then they don't contribute to points towards your overall. They are literally there as a snapshot and for bragging rights. So yes, you do get the sprint skin suit as the fastest time through, but when we come to the finals, I don't think anybody's prepared to jeopardise their team's chances, particularly in Category 1, of taking the best team prize for the sake of a sprint, because the sprint is not anything that counts for the overall. And it's one thing saying, well, I'm going to go sprint for and maybe put at risk my own money, but I'm not going to do that with the team's money. And you see that's reflected here with Category 3 and Category 1 mixed up in the top 10.
Well, I can tell you, having scrolled through the results screen, which you can find on mywhoosh.com live at the moment, that not one rider from any category is sprinting today. So Amelia Velt from the Sweat Sensations rolling through at the fastest time, 14.663 of a second. Rebecca Johnson from La Rosa Blanca in category 3, picking up the second fastest time with De Silva and Vasquez. And it's a real mix of Cat 1 and Cat 3 riders, giving you a heads up that those two packs rolling at a very similar pace.
So everybody coming through very, very close together, the pressure on, and at the moment it's all about getting into the base of the climb that comes in at 21 point. The nearest riders are the riders in category 4, category 3, category 2 and 1 following, all chasing the prizes that are available here on MyWhoosh, the biggest prize pot in esports cycling, week in, week out, no exceptions. I think it's time for us to take a look at what is at stake for our riders today. We're going to head across into our prize money. So today it is our monthly final. So left hand side and center of your screen. Individually 2,160 AED down to 432 AED for first to fifth. But most importantly, in category 4, 10,800 AED for the win in the team competition, running down to 1,080 AED for fifth place. Category 4, getting prizes up for grabs. Not quite as big as these, because these are category 3. As we move from 4 to 3 to 2 to 1, the prizes increase in value. 3,600 for the win individually, 18,000 AED for the win in category 3. So a jump up as we move from 4 to 3, a jump up as we move from 3 to 2, because we then go up to 6,000 AED for the win individually, running through 4,800, 3,600, 2,400, and 1,200, second, third, and fourth, fifth, respectively, individually. The team classification, well, 3,000 for fifth, 6,000 for fourth, 12,000 for third, 18,000 for second, and a whopping 30,000 for first. And if you thought that was big, well, category 1 are the top of the tree. They are the ultimate classification for our riders, and they have the ultimate prizes. 2,000, 4,000, 6,000, 8,000, and 10,000 AED. Fifth, fourth, third, second, and first places individually. 5,000 for fifth in the team competition. A humongous 50,000 AED for first place in our team competition. So 50, 30, 20, 10 AED. Now, these are the riders' prizes in AED. So if you are lucky enough to be in the United Arab Emirates, or you're going there, then you're able to spend it in that. But let's have a go.
Hey!
Because it's Emma's Exchange. This is where...
Guess what we've got on our screen?
If you're out in the world
Swedish
somewhere,
riders, Swedish krona.
Okay,
well,
so what can our Viking Raiders take home today?
Should any of our Category 1 Swedish riders take the win today for 10,000 AED, they will walk away with 27,718 Swedish krona. Should they be part and parcel of the team that walks away with 50,000 AED, 138,593 Swedish krona as of Emma's Exchange.
That is a substantial sum.
Well, it's exactly the same as 50,000 and 10,000 AED, but you know.
According to Emma's Exchange, there are other exchanges available around the world. It gives you an indication as well of what the prize money is worth somewhere else in the world other than in AED. But of course, you may be going to the UAE, to Abu Dhabi for the World Championship finals if you make it through the semi-finals. Semi-finals coming on the first weekend in September. Not all that far away. It really, really, really is.
You might be a fan of the sport and want a ticket to watch.
You might indeed.
I've no idea whether you can, but that would be good,
there's a live final with a live crowd and a big
could you
audience
imagine?
as well. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic show to be present and watch. We are going to be bringing you, we've brought you the public qualifiers. We're going to be bringing you the semi-finals. Those semi-finals are really going to be interesting. Massive representation of riders across the globe in various nations, from the nations' representatives that they've selected, as well as people who have qualified in the public pathways. Really, really going to be a fantastic set of races. Now, we are going to be on the mic for that. We'd love you to join us. The best way to get notified when that's live, that is on YouTube or on Twitch TV. Make sure that you go to MyWhoosh live on Twitch TV or subscribe to YouTube. Hit the button, subscribe. Make sure you join up, tell your friends about it, because we will be bringing you that action. I'm really looking forward to it.
Less than 2 weeks.
It is indeed.
There is this Sunday Race Club, there is next week's Sunday Race Club, and then Friday the 6th of September is the semi-finals. And, well, I, for one, cannot wait. And I know a number of these riders are absolutely training their socks off at the moment in preparation for that. But at the moment, we are in with Category 3. We're in with Rebecca Johnson. There's a polka dot jersey in the background, which for me is very representative of Johnson, because she's a phenomenal climber, and that's really where she comes into her force. So today's course, I think, should really suit her. The Category 3, there are 18.5 kilometres now into the race. This is, well, the end of the final sprint, the Monpok City sprint, before at just shy of 22 kilometres they get into the Medlin City climb, and I am sure Johnson is looking forward to the action there. That is going to be interesting. At the moment, though, we're in with Category 2, the green jerseys. They're at 16 kilometres. They've just come through the San Gil sprint through the caves, coming out the other side. One big tight pack on the road. London, Embring, Prado, Kong, Miller, Davidson, Wagner, Guria, Bonilla are all still in this pack. Anna Svardström's currently wearing the green skin suit of the fastest sprinter. But as we talked about earlier on, nobody is really sprinting at the moment. The packs are rolling through.
So by sprinting, we are indicating basically going for that particular segment. Their watts will increase, so we'll be going absolutely flat out to take that. They'll be looking at everybody else, looking to set the fastest time. We're not really seeing that increase. Anybody who's taking that deliberately at the moment is doing so relatively easily, because they're able to go, maybe start the sprint at the back of the pack, finish at the front, and that is enough to move up and through. Now, got our riders up on screen. German Prado, regular champion German, and a regular rider on the Sunday Race Club, a rider who really has improved. One of the riders who we will see in action in those semi-finals, so long as everything goes to plan for her in the run in to those World Championships. It's going to be an absolutely cracking run in. We are in our finals, though, and it's all about making sure you've got your focus in the right place at the right time. At the moment, that is about making sure that you and your teammates are in the right place. And got to remind you, Jaramillo, Wagner, Prado and Vittori are all in that same team, the Globetrotters team. They've got Colombia, Germany, the Philippines and Italy represented by their team. It's a multinational team, but all very strong and all very good on this climb.
Well, talking about the climb, here it comes. The first group of racers out of the start pen today, Category 4, who started 5 minutes before Category 3, 10 minutes before Category 2 and 15 minutes before Category 1. They arrive at the polka dot banner, signifying the start of the Medlin City climb. It's 5.5 kilometres up with an average gradient of 6%, and it's a large group of Category 4 riders leading this race at the moment, heading into the climb. Well, Bogren, Thompson, Tejeros, Sarasu, Lloyd, Alvarez, Arrayas, all in the mix here. They're towards the back of the group. Tejeros we can see in her pain cave. Big screen there, giving her a great view of the action. Hamilton is in there and Bremner. Now, Bremner went really well last week on the new course in California. It was Vink, Bremner, Idzik, Bago and Alzat who took the top 5 in Category 4 last week, and Ella Vink in the top 10, sat comfortably at the moment. So is Katie Bago. Alvarez is there as well, and this group's still quite spread across the road. It's looking like you can see from the bottom left hand corner of your screen one rider just struggling to stay with the pace at the moment.
And absolutely key for all of our riders, whether they're in the leading bunch or in the leading group or further back on the course, to put in absolutely everything. Now, we have two climbs today, the Medellin City climb and the Bogota climb. They are our two key climbs. Valencia at the moment right up in the mix, currently sitting in sixth place, moves up into fifth position, and being in position is absolutely key, because it really is going to be a fantastic place to put an effort in. Put an effort in on climb number 1 and you're well away. Climb number 2, you could be in there. It's all about cut-offs.
Well, Alzat Valencia, having had 2 fifth places this month, riding really strongly, and I would expect she's expecting to be right up and in the mix today.
Yeah, and for her team, that sets them up well, doesn't it? I mean, Valencia, it's 3 riders. We've got Valencia, we've got Solorzano and Milena Alvarez. 3 riders, minimum number, so all 3 riders are going to have to perform to get that result. You can't afford to shed anybody on the way up there. Now, through the Sandgirl sprint we go. So this is the penultimate sprint before we hit the climb. So the next sprint will be the Monpont City sprint. This is category 1 in and through. And Camilla Belli, the rider who has gone through with the fastest time. That is our rider in category 4 for the Intercontinental team from Brazil, but followed then by a whole host of category 1. So the pace just picking up a little bit more in category 1. The group all coming through, still on block pretty much, isn't it?
I'm sort of shaking my head at Matt's comment there, because category 1, the pace isn't picking up at all. Everyone's just riding.
Everybody else has slowed off.
Everybody's riding within
Really?
themselves.
Okay.
So Amelia Velt, who went through there in second place behind Camilla Belli, the average watts per kilo through that section was 3.
Okay.
3 watts per kilo for category 1 is a steady
all this
state.
is they've not picked up from not a lot to a little bit more than
No. They've been pretty much riding at 3 watts per
lot.
kilo, category 1, for the whole time till they got to this sprint section. So the whole pack of 28 riders in category 1, all still together, going through that sprint section at 15.5 kilometres into the race. Belli, the rider going through the quickest, not sprinting really, 3.4 watts per kilo was the pace there. Slightly pushing on. She could have just been pushing on to the back of the pack, closing it down, but category 2 rolling through at 3 watts per kilo as well. Category 3, well, they rolled through that sprint actually the slowest at around 2.5 watts per kilo.
They might have been the slowest through that sprint, but now it's all action on the front. Herrera on the front, opening up the throttles. Piccolo and Hadlock are going with it. Johnson chasing Bryce and Bergin, all in the mix behind. It's starting to string out, and the pressure being put on by Herrera, Piccolo and Hadlock at the moment. They're the 3 riders on your screen, and at the moment, Piccolo really tapping out a really strong rhythm here in category 3. They hit the start of the slopes, and it was like somebody had woken up the entire bunch. Rosa Herrero decided that it was time to go. The Rosa Blanca squad on the attack. However, immediately followed there by Hadlock and Piccolo of the Grind My Gears team.
Well, let me put it this way. Stefani Piccolo took the win in category 3 on the endurance climb. We know she is a phenomenal climber, and she's showing us exactly those skills, and she really pushes on. And look at the stretch on that category 3 pack already.
And smiling while she's doing it as well. That's a sign of a rider feeling on good form. Up in the mix there with a teammate in the shape of Hadlock. And I tell you something, the pair of them, and they must be talking to each other surely, because this is a coordinated attack, and they really are sticking it down to the rest of the riders. Bryson trying to respond from the Pedal Pay squad at the moment, trying to be in the mix. So is Bergen from La Rosa Blanca. She's got a teammate, Herrera, behind her. Then it's going to be Takova riding for the gear goddesses, but I tell you something, this is we've still got a long
Well,
way to go
I tell
on
you,
this
this
climb.
is about not panicking because, Piccolo and Hadlock, I think you're right. Grind My Gears have a plan and they're trying to execute it. But this is still so early in the race. La Rosa Blanca with Bergin, Johnson, Herrero, all those three are in the chase group alongside Johnson is there as well, isn't she? I just said that. But
having a moment on the other side of the
moment.
studio there.
But they need not to panic. Nobody needs to panic. Whilst Hadlock and Piccolo have really pushed on, they need not to panic behind in Category 3, and they need to ride their own race. There is still a long way to the top of the Medlin City climb.
So I'll just summarise that for you if you were just listening and got slightly confused. Don't panic, plenty of time left.
Perfect. Well,
it's not like me to be concise.
It's not, is it? But Kristen Kolczynski, part and parcel of this pack. Sidlick is there, McCarthy, Bassoni, Van Hove, Columbi and Kalman, all part and parcel of this Category 1 group who are rolling through the earlier stages of this course.
So in case I mistake the profusion of yellow jerseys with an increase in pace, Emma, what do the actual numbers tell us?
Well, the numbers that tell us, I'll tell you in a minute when I can get to them. I haven't switched my screen. Mompox City Sprint. The numbers tell us they're still rolling at around 3 watts per kilo.
Okay, so status quo is held through the sprint. I love the effort that our production team goes to give us all of these results for every single sprint, which is probably the most today on this course on a final.
Yeah.
It is the most irrelevant piece of information because we struggle to even get a snapshot of people's feelings, efforts, etc. However, on every single other show, every single other course, it's really, really key. But because of the nature of this course, because it is flat. Now, I'm going to caveat that with, it's really important when we see the sprint details for the Amazon rainforest sprint. So after the climb that you see our Category 3 and Category 4 riders on, we go into the FRB, the flat rolling bumpy section, so named by my co-host Emma, because it is flat,
rolling
and
bumpy.
And it's got the Amazon rainforest sprint, and that is where those stats are really, really key, because it shows us who's chasing, who's moving fast, who's going slower, who's maybe blown on the Medellin City, gone too hard there. It's not going to have anything left on Bogota. Category 2, onto the climb. They're on to the Medellin City climb. This is absolutely key. You can see we're in with Jaramillo at the moment, but the pace has picked up. Everybody out the saddle, everybody kicking down. They're not riding at 3 watts per kilo here.
No. They are now on the climb, and you can tell that, but this pack starting to lose riders. You can see in the distance there, one of the riders dropped off the back. We've got a couple of riders now in this Category 2 race really starting to hurt, and Bonilla, you can see the effort going in here. She's right up in front centre of this group, and this group really tightly packed here. Montgomery, Embring, Bonilla, Jaramillo, Svanstrom, Miller, all in the mix here. Dana Davidson is there as well as Julia Walkenhurst. These are the names we were expecting to see near the top. Monica Rona in the mix as well. Anna Embring, Marcel Smithers, Wendy McAlpine now. I said she'd be there or thereabouts today. But this pack now really starting to motor. And this is just the foothills of the Medlin City climb.
And what's really key here for me is that what we're seeing is we've seen 1 or 2 riders go off the back. We can see 1, 2, 3 riders off the back of this main group in a single rider, in a pair. Basically, anybody who is looking today to put a performance in has managed to stay with that pack. And the riders who are distanced now, they're riding to continue onwards, get to the top of that climb, but they're not in the mix, in contention. Walkenhurst looking smooth at the moment, just makes sure that she's all ready for the summit here. Very easy to focus on this climb, because where it comes at 21k, to think, right, okay, we're into the action now, and focus on the action and not eat, not drink, not refuel, not make sure you're hydrated, not make sure you're staying cool, and not make sure that you actually do that. But we've got a long way to go. It might be, it's 2/3 of the race distance, but it's not. It's less than halfway in terms of effort.
Yeah, and well, let's put it this way. Let's put this into context. The Paso Alto, 35 kilometres of racing, 537 metres of climbing. The winning time in Category 1 last time we were here is 1 hour and 11 minutes. The winning time in Category 4, 1 hour and 16 minutes. That gives you a range of the time the women are going to be out on this course today. And husbandry, whether that is hydration, whether that is fuel, absolutely key and crucial and part and parcel of that race execution. And these riders will have practiced husbandry, fueling and hydration in training.
I'm sure they have, and you can just see there plenty of fluid, plenty of water bottles for Dana Wagner. Also there plenty of airflow moving with the fan in action as well, keeping yourself in position, keeping yourself hydrated and moving well. Absolutely key. Now, Category 2 are at 23.2k. Category 4, these are our leaders on the road. Petra Aitken, Kirsten Hamilton, Ella Vink, Simone Francis, Katie Bago. Bago, the nearest to our leading riders, but there's not really much time gap between them. That's the back of the group to the front of the group, pretty much. The first rider being with a big gap behind is Bridget Bremner. Bremner just being distanced a little bit here. And for Bremner to lose 7 seconds at this stage, it shows you just how hot the pace is on the front. Then it's Bogren, Alzet, Lloyd. They are spread down the side of the Medellin City climb here as we see Category 1 approaching the polka dot banner. This is going to be the start of that climb segment. The segments awarding points and jerseys just like the sprints and giving us that snapshot on the climbs. Now this is going to be critical. Into the climb we go. We're in with Kristen Korchinski, the rider who has set world alight really with her performances in the hill climbs. She really could be one of the hot favourites for those World Championships on eSports. Will she be the rider to set the pace at the moment? Roberta Bassoni, who we have seen on absolutely blistering form, riding strongly over the last few weeks. I think she's coming back into form at just the right time, heading in towards the semi-finals and into these finals.
Yes, so Bassoni this month took a third on the endurance climb, really showing us that climbing form that she has. And these climbing courses really key. Now, Catherine Fua has been absolutely dominant. And I'm going to say it again, absolutely dominant, taking every win this month. And if I go back in time as well, the last win was on the Paso Alto. Kolczynski beat Fua then. That was in July, qualifier 3. So this could be an interesting race today. But Fua has been absolutely superb recently. She's got to be a firm favourite, for those semi-finals. But no pressure, because I'll tell you something. Any one of these women could be top 3 at the semi-finals.
And it's such a fine line between being the rider at the front, setting the right pace, and going too hard, blowing and going right the way back through that group. It's so easily done, and we've seen it happen on the long climbs. Now, we're in with Jessenia Menendez, a rider for me, the Colombian rider, who has improved. Not made any one spectacular leap, but has constantly improved throughout her journey
phenomenal.
Here on the Sunday Race Club.
She's a great rider on the Sunday Race Club, also racing out on the road as well. And she really does mix those two very, very well. She's had a 2nd, a 4th and a 5th this month. She's not finished outside of the top 5. So keep your eyes peeled on Jessenia Menendez, because I think she's going to be there or thereabout. You can take a look at this. McCarthy has been riding strongly. She's in the mix as well. That Category 1 race is just going to be hard fought.
It is indeed. Now, Piccolo, the rider that had been touted as potentially being right up there at the front of this race, is indeed at the front of Category 3 at the moment, working her way up, and not many riders in front. She's currently 13th on the road. That means there are 12 Category 4 riders in front. That is soon to be 12, because she's just about to get onto the wheels here of Navarez and Tajeros. Through and past she goes. Lloyd will be the next target. The gap back to the riders behind. Well, it's a group of riders at the moment. Bergen and Bryson are both together with Johnson as well. Then we've got a gap back to Alvarez. So those are the riders at the moment. So Piccolo leading, Johnson, Bergen, Alvarez in the mix behind. Will they be able to pull back? Piccolo, has she gone too hard too soon? Currently at 25.8k, the summit of this climb. At the end of the climb segment, 27.4k.
Well, my question is, where's Hadlock? Because last time we saw Piccolo, she had Hadlock, her teammate, for company. Now, Hadlock has lost 17 seconds. So she's dropped back behind the chase group, originally went early with Piccolo, but she's not been able to hold the pace or even hold the pace of the chase group.
Now, we know Hadlock has been selected for World Championships. If you were a World Championship rider, let's say you're racing the World Championships, the climbs are going to be maybe a maximum of 2-3k. This is huge in comparison, 5.5k. So if you are specifically training for those Worlds, this climb is going to be a bit of a nemesis because we basically get to 21.9k and it goes up.
Well, you do have a point there, Matt. And you do have a point that, 2 weeks out from the World Championships, those training programs are going to be absolutely crucial.
From the semi-finals.
For those, exactly. So the training programs of those riders is going to be absolutely crucial. And what is on those training programs is going to be the priority of those riders. How and where this fits in and what efforts they're being asked to put in this race. Some riders will be going full bore for this. Others will be delivering what they need to as part and parcel of that training program.
So they might be doing a 1 minute effort, then backing off of them, a 1 minute effort, then backing off, but doing it as part of the race. And that means that they may then gain or lose time. And where we maybe would see a rider that we'd expect to see right at the front all the time, not there. It may well not be because they're having a bad day. It might be they're having a good day, delivering exactly what they need to, but that isn't necessarily what's going to win them the race.
Whilst Piccolo's on the left-hand side of your screen, on the right-hand side of your screen, in with Bremner, it was 6 riders at the front of the Category 4 race. Bremner dropped back. It is now 4 riders at the front of the Category 4 race because Katie Bago is the rider between Bremner and the leading 4. It's Vink, Hamilton, Francis and Aitken leading the Category 4 race. Bremner now off the back. Hamilton and Francis from the Petit 4 squad. Bago from the pedal dancers. And Vink from What Women. So Petit 4, 2 riders in that top 4. Bremner, their third counter. She's currently lying in 6th. But I tell you something, that Category 3 pack are chasing and chasing hard because Piccolo now in 7th place on the road.
That is a good move by Piccolo, I think. Going clear, really putting everybody else under pressure. It means that they've got to ride. They can't sit there and wait. They've got to go on their maximum. And if you're a confident climber, race to your strengths. You train your weaknesses and race your strengths out with a youngster on the bike out on the road here by our studios. And we were talking about that and how it transfers into esports, particularly because on esports, I think you really do. You've got limited time. You've got to go hard. You've got to go strongly. Piccolo, 10 seconds at the road. Bryson, Bergen, Johnson, all in the mix.
Takova has joined that chase group,
that
Matt.
Chasing group. They've got her in their sights as well. 10 seconds on this climb is not out of sight and out of mind. You can see the difference here as Piccolo on the right-hand side of your screen goes past Bridget Bremner. Bremner at the moment going to be about 20 plus seconds down on the leaders in Category 4. But 2 very, very quick moves.
Well, I'll tell you something, Nicola Takova is having a storming climb at the moment because she wasn't part and parcel of this chase group of 3. She's closed the gap to them and joined them and is now very comfortably sat in the mix. I think Takova is going to be one to watch today.
I would agree wholeheartedly with that because I think once she's gone over the climb, if she's in with this group, she's then got in a good position on the FRB section to do some recovery. We know that she's good on a very much a ruler style course, that sort of up and down and that break, and that's going to be really, really telling. Now back with category 1 who are on the climb. It has continued to string out here. You can see we are in with Fua on the right hand side of your screen, right in the mix, Colombia in the mix, Busoni and Menezes in here. They all are looking to take away a top spot. They're all in this leading pack of riders at the moment. That looks like about 7 or 8 riders to me, Emma.
Oh, I've got 7 riders at the moment on my count, but it may be 8. But it is a phenomenal group. So Fua, Bruni, Busoni, Kolchinsky, Menezes, Columbi, all in the mix there in category 1. Well, that's category 1. This is Stefani Piccolo from category 3. She's leading the charge in that race at the moment. She's 12 seconds clear of the chase group of 4 riders, but she's now in sight of the leading group on the road, and that is Vink, Francis, Aitken and Hamilton, the leading group of 4 in the category 4 race. So Stefani Piccolo, the leader in category 3, now about to catch the leaders in category 4 after 54 minutes of racing.
27.1k on the clocks at the moment, 27.4k the summit of the climb. The banner is inside that polka dot banner. This is going to give us our time checks as the riders go through. It gives us that snapshot on the climb. Piccolo looking to get up to the front of the race, and the gap to the chasers behind, well, it's yo-yoing between 10 and 12 seconds at the moment. That means that she's going to have a gap going into the FRB, that flat rolling bumpy section. Will Piccolo ease off and then let the rest of them come back together, knowing that she's got the best recovery because everybody else has been chasing? Or will she continue to push to the summit? That smile, well, it's maybe not quite as big. It suffered the ravages of this climb, but I tell you something, that is a great effort. She comes up onto the bridge, chasing the riders in front, and this is where she's got to make a tactical decision. How long do you give it? Pushing on the front. Do you let them come together, knowing that you're the strongest climber, and just get the best recovery?
Well, do you know, it's really interesting, isn't it? Because it's 8 seconds, it's 7 seconds, and I think Bryson, Johnson, Takova and Bergen are going to push here. I don't think they're going to sit back. Piccolo's really going to have to watch if she wants to keep the gap. But I think if category 2 catch, Takova, Bergen, Johnson and Bryson are going to try and sit on and get pulled back to Piccolo. Now, you talk about going on the next climb map. The Bogota climb starts at 31 kilometres. It's 3.3 kilometres in length, but it's only got an average gradient of 2.9. We never normally see anybody break away. It's very, very rare to have a breakaway or to stay away on that climb because it's draftable, and a group working together is stronger.
And we're just taking a little look in at Isabella Bryson at the moment in that chasing group. Just pulled a little bit clear going over the top. So I think that's usually a sign that you're stronger. It's when you go over the top and everybody eases off, and anybody who's feeling strong just opens up the gap.
Well, she wants to chase. She wants to catch Piccolo. She can see the time coming down, and she can see the fact that Piccolo is now really, really working. She's picked the pace back up again, and that's because Bryson hasn't backed off. Bryson will know that this next climb is not to be feared. Bryson, Bergen, Johnson and Takova could make this catch, and we could see a group of 5 come together in category 3, and we could see a real battle for the finish.
And we're going to see Piccolo in that polka dot skin suit, the fastest climber. She's approaching Simone Francis, Brad Kawil, the other polka dot jersey on your screen, which means that she's about to make the catch to the leading group on the road. The category 4 leaders in red, along with that polka dot skin suit of the leader Francis now being caught, and Piccolo is going to be very quickly in up to the front of this group here by the look of it. She's made her way to the front, the back of this group. We've got polka dot jersey at the front, we've got the polka dot jersey in the front. It is Stefani Piccolo, the fastest climber in category 3, the leader on the road at the moment, and the gap, it is sitting still at 10-11 seconds. It looks like the group behind holding the same pace as our leader. Now, at the very front of category 2, The leading group are coming in to the banner. This is going to set the time. Walkenhurst, Prado and McAlpine. Rona in the mix here. Walkenhurst in the mix. London, they go in underneath the banner. They are in and through. They are being chased. Farnstrom is distanced a little bit here behind this leading group by about 4 or 5 seconds by the look of it. So Sarah London just going up in and through. She's looking like she's in and made it through that section as well. So let's see what happens on the top. London, you see on the left of your screen, they're just having to take a few deep breaths here, I think, as she is in with this leading group of riders.
Well, this is interesting because Farnstrom's got Wagner not far behind. If those two can come together, I think this group can all come back. So we've got 5 riders clear at the front of the Category 2 race at the moment. Prado, Rona, McAlpine, Walkenhurst and London. Then Farnstrom and Wagner are within 7 seconds. Well, taking a look at that, Farnstrom and Wagner now sitting up a little bit, and Prado, part and parcel of that leading group. They're continuing to push on. They're working their way past Vasquez, the Category 3 rider, and they're continuing to work. Now, this transition section is not flat, as it has been well named. It is
flat, rolling and bumpy.
There you go. So there are transitions within it that the riders do use in terms of maintaining pace and maintaining gaps. So Category 2, Category 3 and Category 4 all up and over the Medellin City climb. Category 1 there on the top left-hand corner of your screen, and that is the polka dot banner signifying the top. Bruni, McCarthy, Fua and Columbi, well, those are the riders right at the front of the group. Menendez and Bassoni looking like they're a little way back now, but only around 6 or 7 seconds.
It's not far. It is a pair of riders. They're going to have to chase through the FRB section, but that gap is closable in theory. The problem they've got is that you've got riders who want to win the race outright for themselves. You've got fearsome competitors. Fua, of course, has been dominant. We've got in here Kolchinsky, a rider who has taken a win on this course before. You've got Bassoni, who's on storming form with Menezes. But Kolchinsky, interestingly, has been dropped from the leading group. She's 16 seconds behind Bassoni. That is a big, big gap for the rider who would be much fancied here. So Columbi, Bruni, Fua, McCarthy, Menendez and Bassoni are the 6 riders from Category 1. Then it's Kolchinsky, Soderstrom, Velt and Holcroft. The date on our screens live as the riders go through. 25 seconds being lost on the climb by Kolchinsky, 30 seconds by Soderstrom, 37.5 by Velt and Holdcroft. And when you look at that screen, we're not seeing domination by any one team in particular.
No,
two riders, one rider. It is a real mix, and that means that team competition is wide open. It means every single rider in the team has got to work hard.
Well, it does, and what is going to be really key is how much of a gap can the riders at the front extend in terms of giving the rest of the team time to get over the line, and those top 3 riders in each team's time added together to give that team competition. Now, our riders at the front will want to extend the leads as much as possible to give the team the best position. The riders behind will want to get up the climbs as quickly as possible to finish as strongly as possible to help and support their teams as well. And you can see on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen the yellow jerseys, the green jerseys, the red jerseys and the blue jerseys scattered all over the road at the moment in 1s, 2s, 3s and 4s. But Bassoni and Menendez at the moment are pushing on here and pushing on hard on the chase.
So this is where they've got to work. They know that when they hit that climb, they need to be close. Can they get close enough? Roberto Bassoni really winding that gear at the moment in the pain cave. Sat down that standard style for Bassoni, rarely seeing it out of the saddle and having to kick, able to get the power down. Sat down, a regular rider in the Grand Fondo and the longer distance events will be finding this distance. When you ride a lot of long events, it's the short, sharp intervals that make life hard. Now, up to the front, Mary Kate McCarthy. That is a rider coming to form at the right time, and she is on a superb ride here today. The Ablock International rider from New Zealand, right up in the race mix. Can she take away victory up against the fearsome Catherine Fua?
Well, I don't think McCarthy. Okay, I'm going to pull the information out of my brain now very slowly and hope it's right. I don't think McCarthy has finished outside the top 10 since she joined the Sunday Race Cup. In fact, I don't think she's finished outside the top 8. She's finished in 6th place a number of times before she broke into the top 5 this month. She finished 3rd last week in California. She really is coming into form on the Sunday Race Cup, and she is going to be one to watch because I think that form is giving her great confidence. Well, great confidence with the Category 1 riders. Part and parcel of the mix is Julia Montgomery, and she's jumped onto the leading group in Category 1. How long can she stay there?
Awesome riding. Saw the fact that they were coming, put in the pace. You watched her pick up her speed there. She watched her put her effort, pace it right. You can see in her face that she deliberately got herself into that mix. She's in front of these riders chasing behind Bassoni and Menezes, who are just coming into that same sprint. And this is why the Amazon Rainforest Sprint is such a critical window in on the world of Sunday Race Club, because it comes between Medellin City. It comes after most of the flat rolling bumpy terrain before we start going into our final climb, the Bogota climb. That climb commences at 31k. It finishes at 34.5.
And you know what I can tell you? What the live results are telling me is that Bassoni and Menezes are not moving fast enough to catch this leading group, because they went through that section slower than the leading group in Category 1. Well, Piccolo said in the fastest time through the Amazon Rainforest Sprint, 22.174 seconds. Look at the mix of jerseys, though. Ella Vink leading the charge for Category 4. Sarah Lundin and Dana Wagner, who are chasing, leading the charge for Category 2. Columbi part and parcel of that leading group. So the leading group in Category 1 moving faster than the chasers.
So the group at the front really meaning business. They're going to come in to the climb here now. More updates from out on the course.
Well, I can say that, but I can now tell you that the third group on the road in Category 1 are the fastest through that section, because Gabriela Guerra, Maria Holdcroft, Amelia Van Hoven, Sophie Giovanni, along with Kolkowitz, have all gone into the top 10 on that sprint section.
So as they go through the Amazon Rainforest Sprint, 29.8 to 30.1k, the second group of chasers going faster than the chasing group, going faster than the leaders there, because the pressure was on. But the problem is that they are all giving ground to the leading group of Fua and Co at the moment onto the climb. The distance, the time is running out. We're at 31.5 kilometres of this 35 kilometre race route. You're here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club finals. This is our monthly final. My name's Matt Payne. I'm here with Emma Martin, bringing you all of our race action here today. The action is coming thick and fast across all 4 race categories. Category 1, leading group onto the climb. Category 2, leading group onto the final climb. Category 3, solo leader up on the climb. And as we go up the climb, the leader on the road is Category 4, Stefani Piccolo. The rider leading this out has got a gap of 13 seconds on 3 chasers. Illabelle Bryson, Holly Bergin and Rebecca Johnson. The chase group on the left of your screen, the lead rider on the right of your screen. They are at 33.6k. Time is running out for the chasers to do anything about Piccolo. Piccolo, though, cannot afford to sit up and just hold that gap. She's part of that team. They need every single second, because the mix of riders behind is going to be absolutely key, and every second will count.
It will do indeed, and it really is a race on in each category at the moment, because Hamilton and Vink are with Aitken at the moment. That's 3 riders leading the Category 4 race as well. This is looking like it is going to come down to a really interesting finale. Piccolo in category 3, leading from Bryson and Bergin. They are 8 seconds back. You can see them in the distance. This is them. They've got Piccolo in their sights. They're closing it down. It's 7 seconds. Can they get there? Rebecca Johnson has been dropped from this group. She's now 9 seconds back on the chasing group of Bergin and Bryson. This category 3 race really giving a bang for its buck. Aitken, Hamilton and Vink just 2 seconds back down the road. Those are the leading 3 riders in the category 4 race, and Takova is now behind them in that category 3 race.
So the race winner to the top of the climb should come from category 3. The question will be, has Piccolo gone too early? What has she got left in the tank? She's into her last 800 meters. The gap is coming down. It's at 7 seconds. They can see the rider in front now. Bryson and Bergin are on the chase here. Can they make the catch? That is your race leader in front, and Piccolo at the moment has to pick up the pace. Has she gone too soon?
Well, look at Bryson's heart rate currently at 196 beats per minute. Bryson giving this absolutely everything on the run into the finish here. Bergin is side by side. They are working their way up, but Piccolo, well, that's the polka dot banner signifying the top of the Bogota climb, and 500 meters to go.
And this Bogota climb section is going to be critical. They came in here. They were split on the way in. Bergin and Bryson are on the move, and Bergin has seen her target. She's racing to try and close her down the gap. Bergin has the fastest time up the climb from Bryson, from Piccolo. They're the reverse of that on the course. Well, they are now. That's not necessarily going to stick. Bryson is in third wheel at the moment. Bergin is in second, closing in on our race leader. What is left in the tank? 400 meters to go. Now 300 meters to go. This is going to come down to who judges this finish right. Who has got something left? Who wants this the most? There is prize money at stake. There is time for your team, and the team competition still up at stake. Bergin blast past on the left. She saved something. She went at 5 was the kilo. She gained past, and she's holding it. This is about the run to the line. 200 meters. Bergin is kicked. Piccolo is now responding. Bryson is responding, but the gap has opened. Holly Bergin chose her moment. She bridged from Bryson to the race leader. She left her for dead at the side of the road. She put her in the gutter. Bergin is going to come through to take victory in the MyWhoosh Race Club. It's our Sunday Race Club. It's a win for Bergin in our final.
Well, Holly Bergin from La Rosa Blanca takes the win. She goes past Stefani Piccolo in the last 500 meters. Piccolo hanging on for second place. What a phenomenal race. Isabella Bryson coming over the line in third. You can see the pain and the effort on Piccolo. She gave that everything.
What a race. It shows you just how hard this race is now behind. We've got a run for the line in category 4 as well. Category 4 are racing their socks off to come through. I think Petra Aitken is going to have taken that in category 4. She has. Congratulations to Petra Aitken, category 4 race winner. Kirsten Hamilton is going to take a second place. This is the run for the line behind for Vink and Francis. Vink should be taking third place here in category 4. Meanwhile, Takova has chased Johnson to the line in category 3. We're going to give you a run of all these riders as they come into the line. Category 2 could be a sprint finish here because Walkenhurst and Prado are side by side here on the way through. So at the moment, this is Prado we're in with. Rona is behind at 2 seconds. Walkenhurst is kicking here. She's got the polka dot jersey. She's climbed the fastest here today. She's going to be the winner here surely in category 2. Julia Walkenhurst is going to take the win. She'll add yellow to the polka dot. It is a win for Walkenhurst. It's going to be a second place here for Rona, who goes over the top of Prado. That is your Category 2 top 3.
Well, I'll tell you something, Category 1 are coming in hard because McCarthy and Fua are up and under the Bogota climb. And McCarthy has the fastest time. So Mary-Kate McCarthy, 3 seconds clear of Catherine Fua at the moment with 300 metres to go. Is this going to be the first win for McCarthy? Is she going to take the top spot from Fua? Bruni and Columbi are chasing hard.
This is the right-hand turn that takes us round to the finish. McCarthy out the saddle, sprinting at the moment. She knows she cannot allow Fua to come back. Fua at 4 seconds. Time is running out for Fua. It's not going to be a clean sweep for Fua. The rider that breaks it. It is going to be Mary-Kate McCarthy who comes through. Your Category 1 winner on the Sunday Race Club monthly final. What a ride by McCarthy. She takes one behind. Fua is resigned to second place in the final after winning every single qualifier. She comes in ahead of Mel Bruni. Bruni is going to take away a third place here today, following her teammate in and over the line. Behind them, it's going to be Celine Columbi. Columbi is going to come in and through. Now, that is going to make it very interesting in the team competition between these riders. What a ride. Next up, it's going to be Jessenia Menendez. So an absolutely ferocious race to the line. McCarthy in 1, Fur in 2, Columbia in 3. Walkenhurst in going to be through the leading in Category 2. Kulczynski comes through to the line. There are riders
Soderstrom
all
is
over.
on her heels.
I know, Amber Sony, they've closed
well.
that down massively.
The gaps between these Category 1 women,
Wow.
absolutely nothing. This team competition is going to be so close. Well, the overall standings today.
So I'm going to run you through our individual standings first of all. So we've got McCarthy, Fua and Bruni, 1, 2, 3 in Category 1, followed by Celine Columbi and Jessenia Menendez running out in our prize winners. Kulczynski in 6th, Soderstrom in 7, Bassoni in 8. You got Julia Walkenhurst coming through, leading our Category 2 riders, as she came through from Monica Rona, Jermaine Predo and Sarah London with McAlpine Wagner as far as Strom behind. In Category 3, it was Bryson Johnson, Takova Hadlock and Silva. In Category 4, Hamilton taking the win from Vink, then Francis. It was Aiken coming through from Hamilton, Vink and Francis, with Bago in 5th place. The team competition
is so close, I can tell you. So in Category 1, 35 seconds separate the Sweat Sensations from Ablock International, and it's the Sweat Sensations who take it. In Category 2, the Globetrotters just by 37 seconds from the Velociraptors, by 53 seconds from the Velocity Vikings. 3 teams in Category 2 within 1 minute of each other.
La Rosa Blanca taking Category 3 from Grind My Gears and the Pedal Pals, and the Petit Fours, I think, are going to take top spot in Category 4. All the results are live at the moment, so they are subject to verification. They're on MyWhoosh.com. Please make sure you jump on board there for all of those results. They will be verified and checked when the process is through for all of our riders. I am about to take a break to grab a coffee and an ice cream along with Emma Martin. You can follow me at Matt Fixapain. You can follow Emma at biking_Emma. Follow at MyWhoosh on Instagram and on Facebook. Make sure you subscribe, tell your friends. Every single person that follows us and the channel, it really, really does help us and MyWhoosh. So thank you if you have done already, and if you haven't, please do hit that button. We will be back with the men's race, with the men's monthly final very shortly indeed. An amazing race. Thank you to our racers for keeping us so entertained on that amazing climb. Thank you very much to you for watching. Thank you to the team behind the scenes who yet again have delivered amazing action for us to put words to. But from Emma and myself, Matt Payne, stay safe. We'll see you very shortly. Goodbye.